What are the two most common ways to find out where your margin is hidden? Where in your business is a lot of money hidden? And that is usually when, of course, it comes not only to sales. Of course, you can always sell more, you can make more revenue, you can spend more ads and everything. You can increase your revenue, you can increase your sales, obviously. But now, if you just imagine that you're increasing by $50,000 or $100,000 per month, per year, per whatsoever, those $50,000 to $100,000 are not immediate profit. Why? Well, because you have higher spending for ads, you have higher spending for fulfillment, you have operational costs, you have taxes to pay, etc. If it goes well, and you may have like a 20% margin or so, then out of the 50,000 additional ones, it's only 10,000 that remain, right? So you made 10,000 additional profit after you've made 50,000 additional sales. This just as an easy calculation. But now if you're imagining that if you imagine when you are in purchasing and you spend $50,000 less for the same product through alternative producers or with the same producer and always at same or better quality, basic requirement, right? But then you have those $50,000 as 100% profit. There's no additional tax that you have to pay. There's no additional fulfillment operations that you have to pay. You actually literally just spend it less. So think first of all, where does it make most sense to focus? Like, do I make 50,000 more or do I spend 50,000 less? I mean, hint, hint, obviously, it's perfect if you spend 50,000 less and make 50,000 more. So the combination of both, right? But you see the big impact is, of course, that's why there's a phrase, the real money is made in purchasing. You will find the money, you will find the hidden cost, the hidden profit, etc. In most of the case, you know what I mean, right? In most of the cases, of course, when you are going to look into optimizing your purchasing cost. Now, and this may happen through usually two different ways. When you're looking into purchasing a new product, you're aiming for having a new product idea. Let it be a pen, let it be a bottle of water, let it be whatsoever it's going to be. The important thing is that you don't look for two or three or four or five potential producers and just get quotations from them. Maybe you have three of them, and then decide for a supplier. This is what I call buying or sourcing for beginners. Now, why? Well, very simple. Because the more offers, the more quotations you have, the bigger your lever of negotiation, and the more you can actually get lower prices for the needed quality. This is actually the way how we say this is the way how to get the best prices, of course, for the needed quality by optimally knowing 100% of the market, knowing all the producers, getting all the quotations, and doing this globally, hopefully in all of the different countries, right? Because just through this way, you will be able to know the real market price, you know all the highs, you know the lows, and you can negotiate one against the other one. So what we recommend and suggest, I mean, you can do this on your own. Sure, we can do this for you, but just imagine on your own that you're going to look for usually like 15, 20, maybe 25 potential producers, maybe even 30. And not all of them will give you a quotation, but many of them will give you then a quotation, especially if you go afterwards and ask them again and again and again and again. You just be persistent and stick to it and just do it. You'll get them 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10, maybe even 12 valid quotations, right? And then you have the power to go in and to optimize the cost by negotiating one against the other one. And of course, checking the samples, checking the quality, making sure that this is really what this factory then will, of course, supply you. And this is, by the way, one of the perfect ways to lift up all those trading companies and just kick them out. You don't want to have trading companies in between because they will just add a margin on top, right? And you don't get the prices from the source. You get the prices from the source plus margin added on top, and then you don't buy it from the factory directly. Doesn't make sense. So first thing that you can do is when you go in and you find new suppliers that you actually look for 15, 20, 25 potential producers in order to get as many quotations as possible. But now heck number two, or the target number two, which is like the best thing you can usually do, especially if you are an established company with established sales already. Look into your bestseller products. What do they cost in production? Now, most likely you will still have, like back then, 2, 3, 4, 5 offers gotten. You decided for one and you stick with them over all the years. Question: How many times did that supplier reduce the purchasing cost? Hardly ever, right? Or what you hear all the time, like the bigger, larger companies, oh, we've been working for 5, 10, 15 years with them. Yeah, good. But I guess they increase the prices time over time, right? Why wouldn't you go in? Take the bestseller products, the one that you sell, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 times a year or even more. And what if you could save 10, 20, 30, maybe 40% of the purchasing cost at same or better quality? You think that's not possible? Actually, it's very many times possible, like almost all the time, 10 or 20%, quite often easy to achieve. 30 or 40% also very often easy to achieve. Um, Not as often and not as easy as obviously the 10 to 20%, but still, let me give you an example. Australian sellers selling textiles in the US and spend $180,000 every second month to place with the supplier. We went in, looked for alternative producers, and here's the same thing. Look for 15, 20, 25 potential producers, especially if the product is running already for, let's say, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever. Go in and look for alternatives. Now, it can be that you will have alternative producers with which you could like silently small start producing a little bit. You could also build additional suppliers up, have backup suppliers, or it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change your supplier. Like in that case, $180,000 spent every second month. We reduce the purchasing cost just by showing the alternatives of how many other suppliers are out there. How many, what do they offer? What is the real market price? And checking that, of course, the quality is good. The $180,000 were reduced down to $103,000. If I'm right, that was 46.5% or so. Cherry on top, stayed with the same supplier. How is that possible? Well, very simple. When you go to your current supplier, you will tell them, it's like, look, I'm happy to pay a bit more with you, like to you. If you're a bit more expensive than the other ones, doesn't matter. We know we have a good relationship with one another. We work together for a long time. I know I get the quality, I get delivered. We're a well-played team, well-oiled machine. Let's continue. But your prices, they are so far off from the market price. I'm forced myself to move somewhere else with another supplier if you don't really come closer to the target prices that I need. And this is how we helped them reduce from $180,000 every second month down to $103,000. I think it was like 400 something, 460 if I'm right, something $1,000 per year savings just on that one product. Later on, he actually still went to another supplier, which was still cheaper. I think it was in like somewhere around like 70 something thousand. So more than $100,000, more than 50% saved every second month at same quality or even better one. So here's my recommendation. Go look. When you're looking into new products, just go and search 15, 20, 25 potential producers so you get as many quotations as reasonably possible and ask them again and again and again and again and go in, get more, negotiate, check them, do the quality. And then after all this work, you've done a sourcing that's not the beginner sourcing. You've done a detailed deep dive, and that's what you need, obviously. And for the existing bestseller products, rethink. Should you resource them? Should you find alternative producers to build them up or silently begin? Or should you find alternative producers in order to negotiate with your existing one? Is it a combination of both? But this is where the money is hidden. And again, remember, $50,000 savings in purchasing is immediate profit, while $50,000 additional sales is maybe only $10,000 additional profit. And that's what we do, the hashtag Queens of Profit, all the ladies at Signify Global Product Sourcing do, is to help and jump in and find all those alternative producers globally, not only in China. And by now they've achieved far more than $500 million in savings. Soon, soon the lady should be hitting about $1 billion in saving for the clients at same or better quality. Do you see the profit of that? $1 billion or a million, even just? Would that be just a million? Isn't that worth thinking about where to find the profit, how to get it done, and then additionally, with the additional profit, be able to afford marketing advertising spot number one. Outrun your competitors even in the PPC campaigns, in the advertising. Be their number one, top left space, or on Google number one. And you know what? Still stay profitable, because that's what's going to happen, of course, obviously. When many of the competitors come in, the next ones who come in and have lower and lower prices. It's a race to the bottom. You gotta stay profitable. You gotta get better prices, because if a market is interesting, more and more competitors will flood in, right? So think, where is the best money that you can get? Where is it hidden? Where can you find it? And why don't we just hop on a call and explore with Signify together? Get in a call, doesn't cost you anything. We'll explore, we'll take some time, analyze your situation. In the worst case, in the end of the meeting, is it possible to get better prices? What does our gut feel say? Which other countries could be interesting? If, for example, you say Chinese products have a high import tariff into my country, I need to find it from some other place globally. Or just in the worst case, you will then probably know where to find suppliers, how to negotiate with them, how many to contact, what to tell them, and in general, are there the potentials to reduce your cost, make more profit? I hope this is useful, and I'm very much looking forward to talking with you. Feel free, grab a slot at www.signify.net, and I think obviously down here will be another link. So take care. I'm looking forward to speaking to you soon.